Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you very, very much for coming to the BLT. The BLT is what I call this event because I like BLTs for lunch, but it's really the Business and Leaders Luncheon, not the Business and Leaders Talking. So I just want to bring that up. I'm Lynn Snodgrass. I'm the CEO of the best doggone chamber in the Pacific Northwest. We've elevated ourselves to the world, and then we came back down after COVID. We thought we needed to regroup a little bit. So I appreciate the fact that you're here, and I also want to thank our presenting sponsors. You know you cannot do things without people supporting you, and the Chamber's no different. So Columbia Bank is a presenting sponsor, as is the Boeing Company. Portland General Electric, and we have Andrew with us today representing them, and Persimmon Country Club, responsible for your great lunch. They are a presenting sponsor. We also have as our stakeholder sponsor Gresham Barlow School District, and Jordan is with us today, as is a board member, Kathy. And MetroEast Community Media. That's for years been really hard for me to say. The old false teeth jumped down. They are our media sponsor. We are recording today, and out on the registration table is one of these forms. So if you hear wonderful things or you didn't quite get what Andrew said or you want to pass on this information, it's re-recorded. So you can pick up one of these and see what stations it's been. It'll show up again. We also are an amazing organization because of our board members. The strength of leadership is the strength of our leadership. And when I say leadership, anything I do, if I don't have a good, strong board with me, beside me, in front of me, behind me, wherever, it's really difficult to accomplish things. So I want to acknowledge our board members that are here today. Warner Allen of Warren Allen LLP, sitting over here to my right. Jordan Ely from Gresham Barlow School District. He's the CFO. He's the money guy of the school district. That's a good thing and a bad thing. Andrew Spear, PGE, is right here. Thank you, Andrew. Andrew, how long have you been a board member? 2 years? Yeah, we appreciate you. And Kayla Viramonte, soon to have another little Viramonte in 2 more months. So Kayla, the bold orange. So thank you very much. And we have some elected officials with us today. I already mentioned Kathy. She's a school board member. So Kathy, appreciate you being here. And we have a city councilor with us today, Sue Piazza. Thank you for your support and for your hard work on the city council. We do appreciate that business voice at the table. All right, so now to our program. I've introduced just about all of you. So next month, I'll introduce the rest of you. Metro Councilor Shirley Craddock, she was our guest speaker last month. She sent me this message this week. I'm going to read it, and it's a quote from her. I am pleased and thank the Gresham Chamber of Commerce for continuing to bring attention to Mount Hood Aquatic Pool. It is a critical amenity for not only East Multnomah County, but the state. There are very few Olympic-sized pools available, and they are in high demand for competitive swimming events. The pool, when functional, has the ability to bring thousands of dollars, if not millions, to East Multnomah County via overnight stays, eating at restaurants, and shopping. In addition, the pool hopefully will be a place for young people to learn to swim and maybe become interested in competitive swimming. In particular, emphasis needs to be placed on finding a way to help more children of color learn to swim. By far, the most drownings in East Multnomah County rivers are people of color. Many that have not had the opportunity to learn to swim. I'm sorry that I'm unable to attend. Thank you for the flowers last month. I have another commitment to this time. I could not be here. So we're sorry that Shirley couldn't attend today either, but the fact that she took the time to acknowledge the asset that Mount Hood Pool was really important. I wanted to share that with you. So I personally couldn't agree more with her statements. Mount Hood Community College has started with a great first step to reinstate the outdoor pool at the college. For some of you might not know that several years ago, the outdoor pool was closed in the wintertime because it couldn't have the cover put on it. Before then, it was an indoor-outdoor pool year-round, and we were able to have That'll cost you $5. Happen again, it's 10. And it's a discount because you're new. So the cover stopped the pool from having year-round activities. They're in the process of bringing that pool back, but then COVID hit. And not only did we not have activities in the wintertime because we didn't have a cover, but also in the summertime because of the state not allowing those kinds of activities. So Mount Hood Community College has started with a great first step to reinstate the outdoor pool at the college. The right first step was the hiring of Andrew Jackman as the new aquatic director. He came to Gresham from sunny Santa Monica. Why would you move from Santa Monica to Gresham? Today is okay, but 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, question the wisdom there. He has been the aquatic director of many jurisdictions in Southern California, giving him great experience on what it takes to have a well-run aquatic center. When he arrived, he was the only employee. No lifeguards, no program staff, no programs, because it was all shut down. Everything was closed down. He literally had to start all over again. And he's done a great job from an outsider's point of view. His biggest and most fun challenge ahead of him is to get a retractable roof for the outdoor pool funded and built, giving Mount Hood Community College the title once again of being the only indoor-outdoor Olympic-sized pool in the Pacific Northwest. So let's hear more about his story and his vision and find out how we can support him in his role and support the college in their endeavor. Andrew Jackman, come on up.
All right, thank you everybody. I really appreciate the Chamber having me here today. It's been a really great partnership, and I learned so much from Lynn about this community, not being from here every time we chat, so thank you for having me. What I'm here to do today, I just wanted to start with my agenda, tell you a little bit about myself. Lynn did a great job, so I won't spend too much time doing that. Talk a little bit about what my goals are for this facility and what I hope will be all of our goals as members of this community and how the Aquatic Center can be an integral part of that. What the connection between the Chamber of Commerce and the pool is. Why was I maybe invited here today? Why is what we do at the pool important to all of you? A little bit about our facility maintenance updates and some support opportunities that might be available to help the pool kind of achieve our mission. And at the end, I'll be happy to take some questions as well. So a little bit about me. I have a background in aquatics for the last 16 years, including managing several large facilities and large aquatic facilities and many events. Previous to this, I was overseeing, as Lynn mentioned, aquatic facilities in the city of Santa Monica, California. I am a certified Red Cross water safety and lifeguard instructor trainer, meaning I have the ability to train all of the staff, the head lifeguards, pool lifeguards, swim instructors, and all the skills they'll need to be able to run this facility. And I have a bachelor's in political science from Cal State Long Beach and a master's in management with an emphasis in strategy and accounting from Harvard in 2020 that I got during the pandemic. It's quite the adventure. So a little bit about the goals. You know, my priorities when I'm moving forward and thinking about this facility and the biggest things I want to kind of emphasize today and what I hope you will join me in having as your goals are what I'm calling the 3 S's: safety, sustainability, and service. Any aquatic facility, the most important thing we really are always going to be talking about is ensuring all patrons and staff of the Aquatics Center have access to it safely in accordance with those American Red Cross and Mount Hood Community College guidelines. So that's always going to be at the forefront of my mind, making sure we're safely able to guard and staff those areas when we have patrons in the facility. Next is sustainability. I want to ensure our programs and activities are conducted in a fiscally sustainable way and prioritize the greatest aquatics needs of the area and the college. We can have great programs, but ultimately if we don't have the ability to continue funding them and moving forward in these challenging times, it can be really difficult to keep the facility going. So sustainability would be my second biggest goal. And last but not least is service. We want to provide the highest level of customer service and aquatic access to Mount Hood Community College students and the East Multnomah County community. And we want to advance equity, diversity, and inclusion in aquatic programming and events, also in line with Mount Hood Community College's goals. Historically, aquatics is not a very diverse sport, and that's something we want to move to change with some of the initiatives we have going at the center that I'll talk about a little later. So what is the connection between the Chamber of Commerce and the Aquatics Center? So we have huge events at the MHCC Aquatics Center, and it's a large tourism driver for the Gresham area. Attendees of meets and tournaments utilize area hotels, restaurants, car rental services, and much, much more. And the Chamber of Commerce has historically been an amazing partner with that. Lynn was telling me earlier about how the Chamber used to go and let all the local restaurants and businesses know when we were going to have one of these events so that they could prepare and staff more, because they were going to have that many more people coming through their businesses on those weekends. So each attendee of an Aquatics Center event is estimated to bring in about $186 in revenue to the local area. And just by way of example, we had a big, huge swim meet this past weekend and had 585 student athletes who traveled from 7 states for a 4-day swim meet last week from Thursday through Sunday. In addition to just the athletes, they also bring their coaches, spectators, volunteers, officials, parents, guardians, bringing total attendance, we estimate, to about 1,200 people. So if you run the quick math on that, 1,200 attendees, 186 a person, times the 4 days of the event, we loosely estimate about $892,000 for the local economy was generated from this event alone, potentially. So we hold dozens of events per year. They're not all this big, but and we would hold even more and be able to hold even more large events like this one if we were able to move forward with that retractable roof that Lynn mentioned earlier. So just by way of showing everybody what one of these events looks like and what our beautiful pool looks like, if you haven't had a chance to see it before, and I hope my clicker behaves here, but I'll show a quick video just of how these events look. That's our 50-meter pool. It's in this beautiful bowl setting surrounded by trees. On a good day, you can even glimpse Mount Hood through the trees, kind of on the end where I'm shooting the video from. Just a really large event. And then this building, this white building in the background here, is our indoor pool area. So we also have a large indoor pool, which I'll show a brief video of what that looks like inside here, just so everybody can kind of visualize the facility a little bit. So this is what it looks like at a busy swim meet. They're swimming almost hand to toes through the water on a busy day like that. So just to help everybody kind of paint the picture a little bit, that's what a busy swim meet looks like for us. Facility updates wise, the college has done a tremendous amount of work to get these pools ready to run and operate again during the pandemic. We were not idle. Some of the biggest projects were replacing our pool pump, our variable frequency drive, which is like the brain of the pool pump, and heating upgrades. These are 3 of some of the most common reasons a pool might malfunction or break down or have facility issues, and we've replaced that for both of our large pools. So the upside of that is less closures in the future because of those pieces of equipment. Some upcoming facility projects. So we still have some work to do on our indoor pool. We were able to open it for these huge meets we've had this past month, but we will be taking that pool down again for about 90 days to do some work on our lighting, gutters, and decks. We anticipate reopening right around October, at which point we want to bring back some of our most beloved programs, the swim lessons, the open rec swims that our community used to be able to enjoy, that we primarily use that pool for, particularly in the wintertime when it's cold and rainy. And then Lynn also spoke a little bit about our outdoor 50-meter pool roof project. So the design process is ongoing, but we do estimate a closure in 2023 to complete construction on that project. So as I mentioned, the upside of this is that the facility can operate year-round without the former fabric dome-related closures. Putting up the old dome used to require us to close for a month in the spring and a month in the fall, and was very, very expensive from a staffing and maintenance point of view to put up and down, plus the facility had to close to do it. A new retractable roof would not require that level of closure or that level of ongoing staffing resources. So some support opportunities I wanted to mention and talk about. This 50-meter retractable roof project. So the college, with substantial help from community partners, including the chamber, we've secured $2.5 million for this project. There is estimated, we're waiting for our architect to get back to us right now on exactly what the cost analysis is going to be a funding gap, primarily due to pandemic cost increases for labor, supplies, and contracted services. That $2.5 million was estimated as the cost of the project in 2018, 2019. A lot has happened in the last couple of years, as everybody knows. So we are looking for some support opportunities, and we'll continue reaching out to the community, local, state, and federal partners for assistance in closing that gap so we can make this amazing structure happen. Just to help everybody visualize a little bit what this might look like. This is a picture from a similar, it wouldn't be exactly what ours looked like, but it's kind of might help everybody to paint a picture of what it would look like going over that 50-meter pool where it would open up so that you would still, in the summer, get that amazing setting that our pool is in with the trees and Mount Hood and the indoor-outdoor functionality. But then in the wintertime, it could close and enable us to still run large swim meets from all over the country, regional, national events, even in the depths of winter if we have a really cold, wet one like we did this year. Just another example or another view of a similar type structure facility and what that would look like, just to help everybody paint the picture a bit. And then an additional support opportunity I wanted to talk about is the MHCC Foundation recently approved the ability to use donated funds to help offset the cost of swimming lessons for low-income families. So we had talked a little bit about how diversity in aquatics and making sure everyone has access to swim lessons, because those demographics are often the ones that are highest in terms of drownings in the local community. So it would help ensure all local children have access to swim lessons regardless of the ability to pay. And this is, of course, so important in a community that's surrounded by water, where tragic, preventable drownings occur every year, and disproportionately those who do not have access to formal swimming lessons. So the pandemic and the permanent closure of several other local area pools in Sandy and Portland Community College have made this an even more pressing need for the surrounding community, all the way out into Portland even. So really finding a way to increase the number of people who have access to those swimming lessons is huge and important, and we're going to institute this program to make that happen. So that's the end of my comments for you, but I also wanted to reach out and see if anybody had any questions for me about what's going on at the pool, or questions about our projects that I mentioned.
All right, a question? No, you can't let him off the hook that easily. Kathy, before I have you have you ask a question, I did a really bad, stupid thing, and I'm being recorded. I forgot to introduce two of Mount Hood Community College Board of Trustees. Andrew Spear is the Board of Trustees for Mount Hood Community College, and Diane Noriega. Please give her a round of applause to let me get off of the hook, 'cause I'm so sorry I forgot that. You need to come more often so that I can see you. Kathy, did you have a question?
Two things I'm interested in. One is the evaluation or the re-estimation of what the roof will cost. When do you expect to have what the gap will be?
Within the next few weeks. Our architect is getting back to us very soon.
Okay.
So we're expecting that anytime.
And the second thing is, I've been here my entire life, and I remember summer days when, I would take the kids, because that was the easiest pool, open to the public, and you could just pay to get in. Is that still part of the programming that you hope to do, obviously, when you're not having big meets that will help pay for all of this?
Absolutely. The really big holdup to having that going on right now is that our indoor pool is still being repaired. And that's where a lot of those activities were being done, swim lessons and open rec swim in particular. The outdoor pool is very deep. It's 6.5 feet deep at the shallowest end. So that's really limiting if we want to be throwing 4 to 8-year-olds whose swimming ability is questionable in that pool. The indoor pool is really the big driver for that activity. So.
Okay, another question. Jordan, do you have a question for him? I thought you might ask, where did you get that big $886,000 number? When a tourist comes to the Gresham area, they spend $186 per person per day in the community. And it's not because Courtyard's rooms are $200 a day. That's not, she's here. It's because they use chiropractors and physical therapists, and they buy medicine. They take their go to the veterinarian clinic. So it's not just restaurants and retail stores that benefit from a tourist coming here. So you can imagine the loss of the community when the pool was closed down in the wintertime for so many years. The other issue that we need to remember is that once this starts coming, then we need to get the word out. And the word, as initially, because of our facility, and maybe, Andrew, you can address this, have you ever watched a water polo meet or done water polo? our outdoor pool is one of the premier pools in the United States for water polo. Can you explain why?
Absolutely. So because our pool is 50 meters long, we can actually run 2 water polo games at the same time. We actually are sourcing and picking up some lane lines that will even better be able to facilitate that with the exact hash marks on those and everything else. But essentially, if I wanted to hold a water polo tournament and I had to do it at a normal pool, I can only play 1 game at a time. At ours, you can do 2. So you can get twice the volume of people, twice the volume of teams going at the same time for water polo. So it's a great resource for that.
If you haven't seen a match, it's pretty awful amazing.
Yeah.
More physical than football.
Absolutely.
It's impressive.
There's also issues for swimming with our gutters too. I don't know if the gutter issue is conducive to water polo, but the backsplash, or I don't know. It's not my language, but further explain the pool dynamics.
Sure. So for water polo, it actually doesn't present much of a challenge. The gutter doesn't present it. The deepening project we did a few years ago requires us to use a special set of ley lines and setup, which I'm already working on sourcing those, but it doesn't actually preclude us from using it for big water polo events up to and including the national level. And I'm talking with some teams and coaches about trying to not only make us a destination for swimming, but for water polo as well, which opens up kind of a previously untapped world for the facility in terms of events.
And I'll get to you, another link with the water polo is that Barlow girls water polo team was first in state last year, and Barlow boys was second and has been first for years. So in our backyard at Barlow High School, we've had the state titles of water polo. Hello, Mount Hood Community College. All right, let's get another question.
I do not like microphones. I'm Tracy. Hi, Andrew. I'm Tracy with the Courtyard, Portland East, just off of 181st. I don't really have a question, but just to reiterate the impact that just the swim meet last week had alone. We had 2 teams at our hotel. We could have had a lot more, but we ran out of 2 of our rooms with 2 queen beds. But we were busy with 2 teams, and they certainly kept DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats extremely busy when they had their time between preliminaries and then finals every evening. So it was a huge impact on the community.
Glad to hear. Another question. Just a second, I'm bringing the microphone over.
Thank you. Are there going to be any water features for like children and whatnot?
So that is something we would like to look into exploring, putting in some more community-based, I believe there's one in downtown Gresham, like a splash pad with playground equipment that's wet and things like that. There's a lot of grant money out there to fund that kind of thing, particularly as we've started getting these really hot summers as an emergency management type thing to keep people cool. So while it's not on the table right now, it is something I'm very much looking into in our 2 to 3 to 5 year plan. We have the space for it, and I'd like to get something like that going. Yeah.
Okay, he stole my question, but I'll have another one here. So I might have missed it. I apologize if I did. This is a great opportunity. I mean, closing this down as far as weather's not a factor. That's 365, 24/7. That's great for all kinds of activities. I'm assuming this is an expensive endeavor. So who's paying, or what are your plans for, allocating or finding the funding to have this project get off the ground?
So we have the $2.5 million that's already been established. We'll also be reaching out to our local partners, both private and public sector, to see if we can close that gap. The fact that we're most of the way there, I think, gives me confidence we can reach out to folks and cross that finish line. But until I have that cost analysis in my hand and I have the actual number, it's a little tough. Which we should have in the next couple of weeks. So this probably won't be the first time you see me talking about that project and trying to close the gap and get across that finish line so we can make it happen. Yeah.
There's also naming opportunities. You could name the pool roof after you. Hello. I think it'd be wonderful. Maybe we get some of those water polo sponsors out there.
Absolutely.
To name opportunities. I mentioned when you started several months ago, you were it. You were the whole staff of the aquatics. Could you bring us up to date on where the staffing is?
Sure. So we've had a lot of success being able to hire staff to facilitate the things that we needed to do this summer, such as these big events. We were able to hire 60 staff in about 2 months, which kept me pretty busy. But the local aquatic community really came together and sent us a lot of their swimmers of high school age and college age. The college itself is a huge source of potential lifeguards. One of the things we did was offer very, very reduced cost lifeguard and swim lesson instructional classes. So normally those classes would cost $300 to take. We charged $50. Basically, the charge the Red Cross charges us for it. We just passed that on, and everything else was basically free beyond that. So that really helped.
Before you go on there, that didn't mean that the college had to pay the other $200. Why?
No.
Why could we do that? Why could you do that so inexpensively?
Partly because I'm certified as an instructor to teach those classes. So I was the one teaching it. We didn't have to go to an outside contractor to be able to teach folks and do that. Had we had someone who had to come in and teach those classes, then it would have been a $200 or $300 cost to the college for each and every one of those potential employees. So it actually, I feel very, very lucky that we made it happen. There was a New York Times article that came out, I think, just last week about how there is a national lifeguard shortage right now. So I was very happy we were able to make that happen and get these meets going and bring everything back. So really the support from the community was what made it happen. I think I put out the call at the last time I was out here with the chamber, and some of you reached out and let people know and sent staff members my way, and that's a big part of why we were able to be successful. So thank you as well for that.
I sent grandkids your way. I didn't send staff your way. Another question. Hold on. Here we go.
Hi, guys. So I know we were speaking earlier, but I have many questions correlational to this is a huge project, financially $2.5 million. Now, that was in 2018 from what you stated, now double that down the road. As a prior Mountain Community College student and having swam there and done all the classes, my younger son, now who's 23, even did the classes there to educate children. So what I'm questioning is, if we want to raise more funding, that 2 point whatever million that needs to be raised in fundraising, activities, events, what other events can be held in a pool arena? And what does that look like really? How does that trickle out into the community? I mean, $867,000, where is that going? Is this small businesses? Sounds correlational to hotels. And this community is trying to come back, whether it's Gresham, Rockwood, whatever it is. Now you're starting to see that.
Right.
Multiple questions. I apologize,
Sure.
but you understand my thought process. Can you just give a synopsis?
Absolutely. The big part of the revenue we would be getting that we are not getting now without this facility would be that we could hold these huge events in December, January, February, and they're bringing in all that revenue to the area. They bring in a lot of revenue to the college as well. It's kind of an everybody wins setup, and that's what would continue to fund that roof and the facility moving forward. Is it would allow us to use that 50-meter year-round. We can't lure out the water polo tournaments and teams when we're in the middle of a hailstorm in December. They just won't come. But with a cover over it and the ability to then retract it and still be an attractive location in summer where you can glimpse Mount Hood and see the trees, and it's such a picturesque environment to do it. So we're not eliminating that by just putting like an indoor-only building over it. That's why the retractable part of it is so important, so that we can do both at both times of year. Yeah. I don't know if I hit all your questions there, but at least moving forward, that's where the revenue would come from.
I like that it's year-round. That's an opportunity. And we had discussed fundraising events. So fundraising, and love fundraising. What's something enjoyable, or maybe other groups of people that you would bring on board to fundraise? And I say this very lovingly, but not being from here,
Sure.
Who are you going to reach out to come do some fundraising for you?
I'll be working very closely with the foundation. I believe Warren is on the board and actually helped us secure that the ability to use donated funds for that swim lesson program I talked about. But a lot of what I'll be doing will be working with the college through pre-existing infrastructure and staff to go out and hold those fundraising events specific to that. And I'm already starting to work on that with the foundation and with Lynn, who's been a great resource for reaching out to folks in the community and knowing about different grants and Oregon State specific things that I wouldn't know about coming from Southern California. So I'm really trying to tap those resources for starters. Yeah.
By the way, Andrew, there's no border wall between California money and Oregon money. So anybody you know in California that wants to fund our pool, you're welcome to have that flow north.
I'll see what I can
to
do.
our area. Oftentimes, when you think about fundraising, as you said it, you're thinking about cakewalks and that kind of stuff. To get a project like this done in the timeline that we have, we need a large donor or two. I was serious about a naming opportunity, just like Yoshida did with the basketball court, similar to that.
Yes.
And move forward. So again, California border does not exist when it comes to cash. What? A PGE pool. Whoa, PGE, a different kind of electricity. Here we go. Very good idea. That could be an iconic memory that PGE. Yeah, right. You could be known for that in our community, and whatever. Another question, Bob.
This is a first-class facility, and I'm glad we're developing it, and you're doing a lot of fundraising, as we've discussed. But let's face facts. A business person, we cannot run our businesses based on fundraising. I know you need the fundraising, the large capital cash, but my question to you is, on a marketing basis, in order to maintain this facility on a cost-effective basis over multiple years, what is your marketing program, and how are you attracting people from North Carolina, South Carolina, or Canada, or Mexico? What is your marketing program to maintain with sustainability this facility?
Sure. So this is where one of those areas where me being from out of state and being very knowledgeable about the aquatics community on a national level is really helpful, because I have a lot of connections with USA Swimming, with USA Water Polo, with FINA, the international water polo body, and I can reach out to those folks and make us a destination for them to come to and bring these events on a yearly basis. It is a small group of people making a lot of those decisions, boards mostly affiliated with those groups, and I know people in those groups and have connections there because I've been working in this field my whole career. So that's a part of it, is getting selected to do multiple of these large events at this facility, particularly in the wintertime, which makes us even more exclusive, because other than Southern California, where I'm from, there's not very many places nationally that can host these huge swim meets in December, January, February that are indoor with nice weather or the ability to close the roof. So I think on an ongoing basis, after we have gotten the capital to make this retractable roof happen, the events will come to us, because we will be such an exclusive site able to facilitate those kind of meets in the dead of winter. So that's where the ongoing revenue to keep it going will come from. Yeah.
Kathy, another question?
Just a clarification, because I think what you answered earlier was that you won't have the new estimate for the new pricing for the retractable roof
Right.
for 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
So right now, we don't know what the gap is.
Correct. I don't have an
2.5
exact
million?
number.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not, we just don't know it yet.
Right. I didn't put it in there because I don't have it yet, and I want to make sure I bring accurate information when I talk about that. Yeah.
Another question? Warner. I'm coming. So's Christmas. Here we go.
So you mentioned the connections that you have. What kind of reception have you received so far in reaching out to those people about your new position and the opportunities that are here? Really great reception with Al Segala and Judy over in the MHCC Foundation on the college campus. They were very helpful in helping me to get set up with a donation portal that we can start using to bring in funds for particularly the swim lesson initiative we're trying to push. So far they've been nothing but helpful whenever I've reached out to them to assist me with this. Yeah. Or are you looking for bigger picture, like community-wide? Sorry. Oh, gotcha. What their response has been? Very positive. Everybody at our meet last week, the meet we had last week, sectionals, Western sectionals, is one of the biggest events. It serves all the states basically on this side of the Mississippi except California and Nevada for older high schoolers and young college students. So they came out, and really this was our moment to put on a show and show that we're back.
And I think we did a great job with that last week. We have another huge swim meet coming up this weekend that will be yet another opportunity where many of those same people will be present and see that, okay, Mount Hood is back on the map. We can start looking forward to 23, 24, 25, thinking about where do we want to hold our meets. We can hold it there again. A lot of people were chomping at the bit for us to come back because some of these events have had to be held at different facilities that couldn't really cater to their needs as well. Very few pools, even in Southern California where I'm from, have a big set of grandstands for you to watch your kids do their swim race or their water polo games. Most swimming pool decks, you have about this much space on the outside of all the pools to try and watch your kids swim. It's a really crowded, not enough space endeavor. And one of the things that USA Swimming and Water Polo and these groups love is you can bring a ton of spectators out to our facility and use it. It's one of the other unique factors about it that makes it attractive. So they're really happy to have us back.
Once we have the ability to have an indoor pool and an outdoor pool, would the pool itself, the aquatic center itself, be self-sustaining and maybe even be a source of profit for the college as a whole?
I believe that that's possible. If we made this retractable roof happen and we focused on, my goal would be, if we were to get this retractable roof to happen, to have something going on at that pool in that water 45 out of the 52 weeks of the year. And if we're bringing in that kind of revenue that frequently, I do believe that it would be a sustainable way to run the aquatic center that would not require the college to be shelling out several $100,000s a year to sustain the facility, which in these times I know is tough to do. So I do believe that it's a way to that goal.
Andrew, when the Dome is what it was called, was first funded, the goal at that point in time was just as you stated, let's get swim groups from all over the United States to come to us, but what probably didn't happen as aggressively as it could have happened was the marketing aspect of letting the story out and who do you go to. So do you in your budget have a marketing line item for that kind of thing, or does that all fall under the college? How, or the chamber, where, what are the marketing? How do you get the word out?
I think it would honestly be a group effort with every group you just mentioned. We would want the chamber to jump in. The college has a branding, communications, and marketing division that I would be leaning on to assist me with that, and of course me with my connections within the swimming and water polo community to make that happen would be a big part of it as well. It really needs to be a group effort to make it happen in that regard, and I definitely lean on the rest of the college to support me in that, and so far I've received that support, definitely. So.
And she stole my question too. No, so I think that's part of it is the marketing, right? I mean, as you're starting to open this back up, get out there, beat the pavement, market it as it is, right? The roof is going to be the improvement, right? It's going to make it better. It's going to be a more year-round facility,
right.
Which again, yes, will attract a lot. I'm from the Midwest. I know how few there are even in that area where we need them all the time because of winter. But what is the overall plan? And again, this is kind of a loaded question because you don't know the total cost,
right.
And you don't really know with definitive answer now, a response, how long will it take, like from beginning to end till it's up and running?
So the actual construction process itself,
the construction process,
when we were to do it,
it's usable, it's
gotcha.
Whatever they tell you can usually add 6 months to a year.
Right. We've retained the services of an architect already who's looking at this project, and the first step in that is actually the cost analysis part of it. That's what we're waiting on, so I can give you that number folks are looking to get. And then within that, of course, there's things we can do and different directions we can go that affect cost and price. So I will have that information on a more detailed level, hopefully at my next meeting with the architect where we have that. But when we looked at our last timeline, there's a lot of permitting and all the things that goes into construction that I know all of you are probably fairly familiar with. We were looking at a construction, probably fall of next year, and that would close us down for, I believe they said 2 or 3 months, the outdoor pool. So the actual construction, we can't use the pool, everybody's got to be out of the way while they put it up. Was what we were projecting, but a lot of things could affect that because some of these retractable roofs are prefabricated, which means they bring it in, they put it on, we're done, and some would actually involve a little more construction and a little more work. So it's a bit of a variable at the moment. Yeah.
So
that's what I was told, and again, it does make a difference if it's a prefabricated structure versus something they're having to build from the ground up. So it just depends on which company and which group we would go with. Yeah.
Go one season without it, and the next season
And ideally, we'd be trying to do that in a shoulder season, spring or fall, and not completely eliminate our summer season when we build that. So we're going to try and work to be really smart about how we time that or how we look at that. So.
Another question? You guys have done a great job of answering all these, of asking all these questions. You've done a pretty darn good job at answering them. What do you think your biggest challenge, Andrew, is going to be in the next, say, 6 months? Your first 6 months, your biggest challenge is getting to know us.
Sure.
Next 6 months, what do you think?
Well, we'd really like to bring back some of those community programs. The swim lessons is a big one that needs to come back and needs to come back right away. And that involves another round of training, another round of staffing up even further to get us back and capable of doing those programs again. And that's the thing I'm hearing most from the community right now. Bring back our swim lessons, bring back our open rec time. So I want to make that happen. That's probably number one. And number two is really working with the college and the foundation and community partners to make this retractable roof project happen and move it forward, move the needle on it, because the grant money we received does have a time it needs to be allocated and spent by. So we really need to be looking into this and making it a big priority so that we can make sure we use those funds towards whatever we do build over that pool.
Yeah, I'm trying really hard to be able to use some of the regional tourism money that the Chamber is responsible for the Portland region to help fund the scoreboard.
Scoreboard as well, yes.
That's a big chunk of change, and it's a tourism issue, so it falls under that category. The Sport Authority, you mentioned the Chamber, thank you, but we have the Sandy Chamber and the Hood River and Cascade, West Columbia Gorge. There's a lot of chambers that are supporting and helpful, can be helpful to you. But so is Sport Authority, and I think they changed their name a couple of years ago, and I don't remember what the new one was. Sport Authority is a nonprofit, but they help motivate and get sports all over the state of Oregon. And Portland Business Alliance, the Chamber of Portland, just did a study on sports and the financial value of sports in our community, and it was shockingly great. They didn't expect to have the answers that they got. So, and it's not just about the Trailblazers and Timbers. It was about all kinds of sports. So it was a document that could be well used when you go out for grant money.
Absolutely.
So one last chance for one last question. Betty, are you ready to jump in the pool? You don't think so? Andrew, any closing comments?
Just thank you for having me and letting me tell you about the facility and the big plans we have for it. I really appreciate the invitation. It's been a pleasure getting to know all of you.
When I first met Andrew, it was during the interview process, actually, and I can't talk about what happened there, but when you interview people, you get that sixth sense about folks, and I just had this sixth sense that he would be a good community member. There's qualifications, there's vision, there's all those kinds of things, but you just have this, he'd fit in here really well, and I hope you will agree with me, that even that Californian could fit in to where we are. So I want to also point out that swimming and water polo is not the only sport that brings in $186 per person per day. Recently, the Gresham Barlow Youth Softball Baseball, I wish they would change their name, organization had a state qualifying tournament. Is that what it was? 9-U. Yeah, go ahead. Say it again.
9U state championship.
Right, 9U state championship. And if you could shout, how many kids did you have compete? Do you know how many teams? 8 teams, 120 players, and if you're 9 years old, you didn't drive yourself. And so there was a way to get them there, and usually it's mom and dad, and I could attest it's grandparents as well. So that revenue between those two organizations brought a lot of money into our community, and that was just like in 3 days. So we need to continue to support the nonprofits and the for-profit organizations that we have, sports related. Kayla, I don't see any time soon where we're going to do a retractable roof on Main City Park. That but let's do support Andrew in this. All right, I want to thank the sponsor. Oh, one more thing. If you got your newsletter today, the information about Andrew is on there. I highlighted both those organizations. The first photo on the newsletter was about the meet that just happened, the swim meet that just happened. So, and I love my seeds to grow this month. It's about that dolphins are so smart. Within a couple of days after they get into a pool, they've taught that individual to come to the edge of the pool and feed them. You have to be there. Read the newsletter when you get back. Think about that. A dolphin is so smart, he can teach us how to feed him. So anyway, go ahead. Thank you for our sponsors, Columbia Bank, Portland General Electric, Persimmon Country Club, and the Boeing Company, our presenting sponsors, Gresham Barlow School District, MetroEast Community Media. Don't forget to pick this up if you would like a replay or to share it with your friends. Next month, we've got some really good months coming up of speakers. Next month, the city manager, Gresham City Manager Nina Vetter, she's asked to come back and give another presentation, give us an update on probably Imagine Gresham, I'm not sure. So she'll bring us up to date on that. And the September luncheon is our ever popular and well-attended candidate forum in September. October is a surprise. So with that being said, go forth and make a profit.